Evening. We're here for our 7K Success Academy, and I want to say thanks to everybody for remembering to hop on every Monday night. We do this at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and we want to give you the basics, some of the fundamentals on how to go about building a successful business with 7K. So I want to say again, thanks for taking the time to be on. What I'm going to do tonight is I'm actually going to go back to 2023. I had done a training at the conference, and it really talked about the timing of where we sit. And some of you may have seen it, some of you may have not. But either way, I think it's a good reminder about where we sit in terms of the timing of where we are in this company and what we can go out there and achieve for ourselves and our family. So I just want to say it's an amazing time. I want everybody to get excited about this. You know, you want to wake up in the morning with really a fire in your gut, because what we have is really, we want to create that sense of urgency. If you take a look at any of the stuff that's talking about what's going on in the economy and with silver and gold, everybody, all the experts are talking about how silver is expected. Again, we're not making any predictions or projections ahead, but they're saying that silver could literally skyrocket. And I personally believe that too, simply because of supply and demand, knowing that there's silver that's needed and a lot of it's already being taken up. And people who are buying these ETFs, which are silver on paper, thinking they own the physical metals, are going to be in for a shock. And when that bubble pops, everybody, that's when literally I think we're going to start seeing the price of silver skyrocket. In the meantime, I'm thrilled that it hasn't skyrocketed yet. And some people are like anxious. They want to see it. Oh, when's this going to happen? When's this going to happen? I'll just tell you this, everybody, when it happens, the opportunity here is probably going to start getting a lot tougher, because everybody's going to be flocking into this very rapidly because they're going to see what's going on. They're going to want to get their piece of the pie. And so I just encourage everybody, take this seriously now. Don't wait. I know that you all are, because you're here. You're making the right steps. But let me get started with our training, and hopefully this is helpful to everybody. So hang on one second. All right. Okay, so this is, and it's very hot in here, by the way. So if you see me sweating, that's why. It's just, I got the air conditioning going, but it's still very hot up here. So this is a glimpse into the future a little bit. And a lot of this stuff is stuff that is based upon years of just homework that I've done in the industry. So let me show you exactly how it works. Basically, in a nutshell, everybody, and you might have seen this at the latest conference, but this is what a lot of us are doing. We're so focused on the different things that maybe we've done in the past, the mistakes we've made, maybe the limiting beliefs in terms of what we feel that we can attain, our doubt in ourselves, all of these different things hold us back. And so many of us are looking back into our past, when really what we want to be doing is we want to be shifting and turning our focus to our future, where our dreams and goals lie, because sincerely, that's what's going to allow it to happen for us. If we're the CEO of our own business, and we've ever had something where we can be in control of our future, it's this right now. And so I encourage you, take advantage of it. Look ahead. Don't look behind you. It's all in the rear view mirror. You can learn from those lessons, but don't dwell on those lessons. Okay. Now, the power of 4 works for all members. We want to focus on helping people get their 4 out of the gate. I want you to think about this. We're in over 40 plus countries right now, and actually probably more than that, because people can come on in different countries and have their base set up in one of the countries in which we're open. But we have a combined population of over 1 billion people out there. So sometimes we get too focused on the one that got away, maybe the one that maybe didn't see it, or maybe the one who even ridiculed us or put us down, maybe planted doubt in our head. Get that person out of your mind. That's not the person you want to focus on. You want to focus on the ones that you can possibly save with what's going on out there. There's 1 billion people out there, and a lot of people are scared about their future. They don't know what to do. We've got a solution that can really help them. So just be strong in your conviction. Remember, we're not selling the membership. We're selling the appointment so we can show the information using third party. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense to everybody. Now, very important, when we're getting someone started off, we want to find out what is their why. Let me tell you why this is important. The biggest reason is that when we're working a job, everybody, it's a disciplined environment. We have to show up. If we don't show up, we'll get fired. So you have to show up. It's a disciplined environment. You've got a boss there many times looking over your shoulder, or even if you're working remotely from home, you have to answer to somebody. Here, you don't have to answer to anybody. You're your own boss. You've got a support team that, sorry, dog is right behind me, having a tough time getting up or something. She's a little older, so I had to give her a little boost there. But what's going on here is that if you don't establish a strong enough why in your people and in yourself, it's a very easy business to walk away from, because you don't have to answer to anybody. You don't have to answer to anybody regarding what your daily activity is or what you're doing on a regular weekly basis, or if you're even showing up. So that's one of the disadvantages of working from home, is the fact that we have to be disciplined in our own self-discipline to go out there and be able to do that. And that's why it's important to figure out the why, because if we know the why in someone, if someone's, let's say that their why is that they want to be spending more time with their family. Well, with a business that can cost as little as $149, which I highly recommend everybody really show the legacy, because that's the plan in which you can store a lot more in metals and so forth. But with a plan that someone could get as little as $149, it's easy to walk away from. Okay, you know what? I only spent $149. I don't need to do this. I'm just going to not do it. I'm not going to share it with anybody. It's too much outside my comfort zone. But if we establish a why in them and they understand that, hey, I want to get this because of this reason, we can bring them back to that. We can remind them of that, keep it focused at the forefront of their mind to keep them moving forward. Now, this is going to be your journey. The journey is always going to be an up and down roller coaster. And so that's what you got to expect. And when you're first getting started, you might be excited. You might be a little bit fearful. You might have some self-doubt as well. But what you need to do is you need to go out and start doing the fundamentals. Get together, do a game plan, make your list. Always starts with that. Sometimes that's one that people don't want to, I don't need to make a list. I know who I want to talk to. You need to make the list. The reason why is psychological. It's very big psychologically to an advantage for you. Post your first Zoom and then share the video. So now you're getting excited. You're into activity. Now you might come across the skeptical relative, or the person who's the naysayer, or the dream stealer. Or maybe you don't get anybody who shows up on your Zoom, or very low turnout. Or maybe someone tells you, oh, that's one of those pyramid things. Okay. Which, candidly speaking right now, everybody, that's a very, very lame excuse for someone not taking a look at this. If you're not doing anything as a home business or something to give yourself tax breaks, it just does not make a whole lot of sense. You get tax breaks, you get so many advantages when you have a home-based business. So anybody who wants to be a critic, let them be a critic, but it only makes common sense. Very, very bluntly speaking. So also, so when you go through this skeptical relative, you start going through that little roller coaster lull where you start feeling, oh, geez, well, maybe this isn't as great as I thought it would be. But then if you keep going with a consistent positive attitude, despite maybe having some of these things circulating in your mind, you're going to find you're going to get some success. Maybe you plug into a training that gets you fired up. Maybe you get yourself promoted. You get your first 2 people on board and you get your first check. Or you listen to some personal development, or maybe you make some calls. Sometimes even just doing that is getting over that fear of picking up the 500-pound phone. Okay. And then all of a sudden you're back on that upswing. You're like, hey, this is great again. But now you have a member quit, or maybe you miss out on a coin drop or another one of these. Now it comes to the point where you're going to come to a fork in the road, and it may not be this time. It could be any time down the road. And it doesn't matter how long you've been in the business. You're going to have these moments where you decide, which path am I going to take? Am I going to keep doing the basics, fundamentals, keeping my attitude positive, leading towards the road to success? Or am I going to start giving up and going down the road to failure? Let me show you exactly how it works. So it's like this. Let's say you're going down the bad road. What happens is you start going down and you start feeling envy. You start looking at other people and feeling envious of them, maybe a little bit of frustration. And then you have the desire that you don't want to do this. It's like, I don't need to do this. I can go back to my regular life and everything would be fine. But you know what that's going to do? That's going to lead you to a life of resentment and bitterness and thinking what could have been. Okay. You don't want to be there. That's not a fun place to be. Instead, what you can do when you get that fork in the road, go out there and focus on helping others to win. Get yourself moving up with other support. We're going to be there to help you. Attend the events. Keep the fire burning. You're there when the masses don't see this yet. That's what you have to understand. If everybody saw this, the opportunity is done. We don't have a business here. It's gone. So be grateful for what we have. That's going to lead you to success and happiness. Always focus on moving forward. How can I help other people? Your time will come. Now, the keys to success overall is, first off, stay plugged in. You got to stay plugged in. If you're on these calls each week, or you're plugged into the calls each week, or just the consistency, you're going to find the success you're looking for. You want to be consistent. If you're not consistent, then you're putting out an image of someone who's really up and down, not always in the game. If you're consistent, it will pay itself off. The people that you see might saying no right now may say yes later, because things change in their life, circumstances change. Personal development, feed your brain the right stuff. Put the right stuff inside here. That's what's important. If you're feeding your brain stuff that's positive, there's a lot of negative stuff. Everything on TV is negative. It's all hate, divisiveness. Stay away from that. Put good stuff. Choose what you're putting into your brain when you're driving around or when you're reading a good book. Work is a team. It's a collective effort. Doesn't matter whose team you're on. If we all work together with a mindset of abundance, then we're all going to win. And the biggest philosophy is obviously never quit. Never give up on this, because this can give you what you want. Now, some people are always looking at the end destination, but if you're not embracing the journey, then you're going to miss out on a lot of the fun along the way. This is where you build the relationships. This is where you have the experiences that take place, that are the memories. And I'll tell you, if you're only so focused on where you're going to get to, I'm going to tell you, half the time when you get here at the end destination, you know what people are doing? They're talking about all the memories on the journey along the way. So cherish each of these memories, whether it's positive or negative. If it's a negative one, then focus on overcoming it, because it's going to make you that much stronger of a leader for your team later on. You're going to be able to say to them, listen, I was able to overcome something similar to this. You can too. And so the destination is just simply the end result. You got to keep yourself focused and moving forward. Keep yourself excited. Keep yourself plugged in. Keep yourself around the fire. That's what's going to keep it moving for you. Okay. Now, this is what's called the S curve. If you're not familiar with this, I learned about this years ago, and I always see this as the success growth curve of a company. And it always has 3 stages. You have an infancy stage, you have an expansion stage, and then you have a maturity stage. Now, each of these stages are going to really kind of reflect what the company's growth is over time. And they're pretty much always stable, always the same sort of pattern, even though the timing of the pattern might be a little bit different. So let me show you exactly where we are. The growth stage, or the infancy stage, I should say, is when people are saying, you might be saying this yourself, why don't others see this? Or it's not going fast enough. Or I don't think I can do this, the self-doubt creeping in. Or no one seems interested. That's during the infancy stage. Now, when you get to that 2% point, this is what's called the tipping point from Malcolm Gladwell. You read the book Tipping Point. 2% market awareness is when usually all of a sudden the product starts getting bought as opposed to being sold. Good example, cell phones. You know, when they first came out, it was a luxury. Now everybody has a cell phone. So people turn from having a cell phone pitched to them. Now they're out there looking for the cell phone. They're specifically going out there looking for it. And the same thing starts happening. It's going to happen with gold or silver when this bubble pops. Now, during that expansion stage, this is what we call critical mass. And whatever you're making at this point, this is a general rule. When you start going into that critical mass, you can expect roughly about a 10-fold increase in income over this critical mass phase. This is just what's been shown. Now, obviously, companies are going to have sometimes a longer expansion stage. Some are going to be shorter. It all depends upon the product's longevity. And then you're going to hit, and these are some of the things you're going to be hearing said there. People are calling me. I can't keep track of everybody. This is fun and big time momentum. Okay. Then you're going to get to the maturity stage, and that's going to be like when everything starts slowing down. And for us, that's going to be really when this is over, when the bubble has popped and, you know, people have bought gold and silver, and we're saying, wow, what a ride. And hopefully you're saying this and you're in a very great financial position at that point. Because right now you're way ahead of the game, everybody. Just being in this company, you're way ahead of the curve of everybody else out there when it comes to the money system. So just be very, very glad that you're here. Be grateful, regardless of whether you haven't introduced anybody or not. Okay. And so this is where we are. Look at where we are down there on the bottom of that curve. That's where we are. We have not gone into the growth phase yet. So you can't get frustrated yet. I encourage you to get fascinated instead of frustrated, because that's going to allow you to keep your mindset right and focused on optimism instead of negativity and focused on pessimism. That's not going to get you where you want to go. Okay. So this is to kind of give you an idea about where we're going in the future. This happens literally in every company. We've got a unique product, and so this is going to happen, but where are you going to be in the curve? Now, here's the thing. I want to show you how you can make this work just 5 hours a week. So you might be putting in a lot of hours. And if you are working a job, just type in a 1 in the chat, if you could. Just put something in there if you're working a regular job. It doesn't have to be 40 hours a week, but obviously it's taking up a certain number of hours that you're having to go out there and put in. So as we can see, there's a lot of people out there who are still working jobs. We need to have jobs because we need to have our bills paid. But if you knew that 7K could give you a business opportunity that would give you literally the lifestyle you want, could you commit 5 hours a week? Could everybody here just give 5 hours a week to something that they knew could make it work? They could make it work. Okay. Well, I think everybody would agree we could all do that. Okay. So let's show you how this works. You go out, you put in your 5 hours a week. So altogether, 5 hours of working towards building your business. Now, do you think that you might be able to find 5 people? You might be thinking, well, I can't find anybody right now, but can you think you might be able to find 5 people if they saw this, that they may also be able to put in 5 hours a week if they were to see what really this could do for them? Because if that's the case, look what's happened. You're still putting in your 5 hours a week, but now you've got 30 additional hours that are working in addition to that, or 25 additional hours. Now, let's say those 5 go out and they find 5 each who put in 5 hours. Well, that can definitely be done. We see it happen all the time. Now you're looking at a total of combined 165 hours working for you on your behalf. It's a team collective effort. This 165 hours are people out there sharing this membership with others, bringing on people into your team, which are accumulating points that can be redeemed or obviously for dollars. So the bigger your team, the more hours that everybody's putting in. You don't need to go out and put in a ton of hours yourself here. You can do this on a part-time basis. As a matter of fact, it's a stronger story. You know, I made this much money part-time last week in a spare time gig. Wow, how'd you do that? Okay, it's very powerful. Now, in addition, I want you all to watch this because this is kind of a cute little clip, but just check this out.
Ela é muito mansinha. Ah, eu vi bicho, eu falei, gente, o que é isso? Põe na árvore, põe na árvore. Ela é muito mansinha, mas se alguém não vê, e eu com medo, eu falei, vou mandar pra todo mundo.
Maneirinha, né? Valeu, tchau.
Valeu, tchau. Olha
Tchau.
que gracinha, meu Deus.
Lá.
Olha que
Olha lá,
linda.
agradecendo.
Que gracinha, olha.
Olha só, cara, que maneiro, cara. Ela agradece.
Que legal, tá vendo?
Maneiro. Obrigado.
We cannot
Mark,
hear
you're
you.
muted. You're gonna have to repeat that.
All right. I was
Hey.
going to thank you very much, Kathy. I was just going to say, I think the sloth is a very cute animal. One thing that's on my bucket list is want to be able to hold a sloth sometime, maybe able to pull them out of the road and put them on a tree like that. That would be pretty cool. But I also know that they can be ugly. I've seen someone who went to pick one up and I think turn around at them. So, but just to give you an idea, the point behind that is that everybody in your team is going to go at a different pace. Some people aren't going to be going at the speed that you want them to, but you still want to help them go at their pace, meet them where they're at. And I'll tell you what, if you help them do that, everybody's got their own journey they're going to go on. Meet them where they're at. That's why we ask them at the beginning, where are you on a 1 to 10 scale on how fast you want to get out of the gates? And a lot of times, some people may say they're on the lower end of the scale. For those people, let's help them get their membership set up. And if they decide they want to share, we're here to help. We're not here to push anybody into doing anything they don't want to do. But I'll tell you what, we can help a lot of people achieve their success. Now, I want to show you what your journey is going to be like. We've shown you a little bit of the emotional roller coaster, but let me show you how this works. With this industry, at the very beginning, because it's commission-based, because you're building a team, you're going to be finding that you're going to be putting in more effort for what the income is actually showing you back. Sometimes people are like, well, geez, I'm putting in all this time. Where's the money? This is how it works, everybody, in this industry. Same thing in business in many cases. You have to go ahead and put in the sweat equity first, get the thing growing. You'll earn along the way, but you'll find that as you continue to put in the effort and build a team that is duplicating, your time effort that you need to put in can gradually keep decreasing. But your income, because you've gotten a large group of people to duplicate simple activities that are building this business, will allow your income to continue to increase. So it's just staying in the game long enough. That's really what it comes down to. And your biggest obstacle, candidly speaking, is going to be yourself. The reason why is this. You're going to encounter self-doubt. You're going to start questioning yourself whether you can do it. Maybe you've never achieved success before. And so you start planting those seeds in your head. Well, you can't do it. You never did this before. You know what? You're not as good as these people. The little devil on your shoulder sitting there planting these seeds of doubt in your head. Get rid of it. Say, you're useless to me. I can do whatever I want. Listening to the haters and skeptics, the dream stealers. That's another thing that's going to get you. There are people out there who literally don't have what you want in life, but they're planting negative seeds in your head and they're stealing your dream too. Don't let them do it. Even sometimes people may be extremely successful. If they don't understand the industry, they could steal your dream without you even understanding it, because you're listening to them because they were successful in this aspect of life, but you're over here in this end. This is a different model. So keep yourself excited. Comparing yourself to others is another big obstacle. Looking at someone else saying, well, geez, they're getting there faster than me. You start turning on yourself. You start planning again, doubt in your own head if you do that. Don't do that. A negative attitude. Just being negative. There's some people, think about this. Do you like being around a negative person? No one likes being around a negative person. So don't be the negative person. You don't want to be the one who, when you walk into the room, the lights dim as opposed to the lights go up. Okay, so be the one who lights up the room. A lack of discipline and motivation. That's a big one, because if you don't have the discipline to go out there and do the basic activities consistently, it's going to come back and bite you, and you need to stay motivated. That's why you want to surround yourself with 5 people who are driven and want to keep moving, want to really make this thing happen, because you're going to be a product of the 5 people you surround yourself with. If you're around people who are just content, that's what you're going to be. Commitment. Sometimes people lack commitment. You forget about what your goal was. You forget about what you attained, or maybe you start believing that you could attain it. And so that's a big one. Scarcity mindset. We start thinking, oh, geez, I missed out on this person. That person went over and they signed up with that person. I was going to sign them up. I can't do this now. We let one person who goes somewhere else all of a sudden start making us think that, hey, this world is limited in terms of how many people we can share this with. It's unlimited. We have a huge, massive world out there to go out there and share this with. So have a mindset of abundance and help other people, even if they're not on your team. It will all come back to help you. And the key is just staying strong enough, long enough. Okay, you got to stay in the game. That's the key. Now, I will also tell you, you're going to have other offers that come along. You're going to have other people going to be sharing you, hey, this is great. You know what? This is actually better than what you've got. And you're going to be tempted. And you want to think long term. What's going to be the best thing for me in the long term? Because I've had this all the time throughout my entire career. You're always being tempted by something else. And the grass always seems greener. And a lot of times it's not greener. A lot of times it's artificial turf when you get over on the other side. That's why you want to make sure that what you're doing is something that you can believe in. Okay, and keep your focus. The focus will get you there in the end. Now, I want to explain to you why this is a unique business model. First off, a lot of companies can go out and duplicate the companies just like that. There was a company called Mona V here a few years ago, and it was a drink. It was a drink that you go out and drink and literally give you health benefits, is what it said. But there was nothing unique in that drink. There was nothing that was special about it. They said that they went down and swam to the bottom of some ocean and dug up some berries and put that in a drink, and that's what gave it the magical formula that it did. But it could be duplicated. Matter of fact, it was being sold for $100 and some odd as part of the business, but then Walmart or some other company like that got a hold of it, tweaked the formula just a little bit, and started selling it for $19.95. Business is gone. And so the thing you want to find, everybody, is a unique product that is going to be by itself, stand alone in the marketplace. We've got 7 years of relationships with the mines, the mints, the banks. So we've got the relationships established. We've got a this industry, seriously, is all about the relationships. So it's a very smart thing to be partnering with a company that knows what they're doing. Our compensation is geared to the masses so they can get paid, in particular, the immediate gratification of getting gold in their hands quickly. Let's get them paid quickly. And with our 2-week out of the gate, quick, fast start promotion that we have, let's get them paid quickly and also get double points on as many as we can. Ignorance on fire. When we get them started, don't worry about sitting there studying everything. Let's put together a list and let's start reaching out to people, get them on a Zoom ASAP. Let's show this to people. Let's help you make money while you're learning this business. Okay? We have multiple founders, so we have a checks and balance system. You don't have one guy just making dumb decisions. You've got 3 other people who are part of that management and ownership team that are helping to make sure that a company does the right things. We are building a legacy company. This is going to be something you're going to be able to will this to your children later. That's a massive, massive thing. I've seen a lot of companies that just don't have that as a mindset or an approach. You have honest, ethical leadership, and literally the world is doing our advertising for us. We see it all the time if you're watching TV, how companies are talking about call up now, get your silver. You know what a lot of these companies are that you see on TV? When you pick up the phone and call, you need to have at least $10,000 in a lot of cases just to get yourself in the game. They won't even talk to you. So think about all the people who are being pushed out that are really our massive market out there. We can bless these people. Okay, so posture is everything. I want everybody to think about this. Who would you have more confidence in following based upon their body language? Okay, would it be the person on the left or the person on the right? I think that obviously we can all say the person on the left. No one wants to follow someone who hopes it's going to work. This is why you want to have a conviction, everybody, and your team needs to see that conviction and that confidence that you're in the game, that you're here till the end. You're gonna get this done with or without them even. Because you know what it does? It creates in them a sense that they want to follow you and also a fear of loss. If you're just simply waiting or dependent upon your team to get going, you're gonna be waiting on them a long time. But if you have the mindset that, hey, I'm here to help and I'm moving on with or without you, you're gonna all of a sudden have your team running to catch up with you. And that's where the person on the left really comes about. They're not waiting and hoping things are going to happen. They're out there getting it done. You can't put your business future in the hands of someone in your team and just say, oh, there's my future. That's too much pressure on that person. Literally, you can take control of your future by going out there and building even more in that leg. So bottom line is keep it simple, get people curious, and then share the message using third party. It's not rocket science until you make it complicated. This is actually something that someone sent to me. I went out to a training that I had done in Vegas, and it was really fun and awesome. And I noticed this on the wall. I didn't even notice that anybody saw that I noticed it on the wall. But then I went back home, and then 2 weeks later, all of a sudden, this shows up at my door. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. So someone had got me that. It's one of the best gifts I ever had because I looked at that, and it's up in our living room. So here's the bottom line. Alone, we can do so little. But together, collectively, we can do so much. We can do so much if we're using each other for that third-party credibility. If we're using each other for that story to share with our prospect, for the person who might be a little bit skeptical. They need to hear that there's more than just you and I being involved. The more people that we put them on to hear their story or to hear their story of success or just how they were able to benefit from gold and silver, those stories really validate what we're doing. But if it's just you and the person, they're questioning whether they want to make that decision because they don't know if you really know what you're talking about. Candidly speaking, if you've never done gold and silver, now all of a sudden you're all hyped up on gold and silver and you come to me and you're not using third party, I'm thinking, well, I know you and you've never were an expert on gold and silver. So there's still in my mind that question about whether I trust your judgment. And so that's why it's so important. Use that third party, especially with the people that know you. It's amazing. You could be sitting there talking about debating a topic at a restaurant, call over a waiter and ask him to give you his opinion. He answers one of the answers that maybe you ask him, and you say, oh, there he goes, validated it. You don't even know if the guy's right, but because it's third party, it seems to validate what we're talking about. So we'll just stick with that third party. Here's some good questions you want to ask yourself that will really help to determine long-term success. How many times a week is the 7K story being shared on your and your team's behalf? Now, this includes not only your personal activity, but includes the people in your team. I'm not saying you have to track everybody in your team, but you want to keep them engaged. You want to find out where they're at. You want to provide this support. How many times a week is a story being shared? The more times it's being shared, the more income you'll be making. The more three-way calls in your team, the more income you'll be making. Okay? On a 1 to 10 scale, how would you rate your appointment setting abilities? Okay. Not rate how well you can enroll people, but how well you can get them to the table to see the video. Now, if you're on the low end of this scale, I would tell you that's one thing you just master. And how do you get better at appointment setting? You say less, you invite them to whatever it is you're inviting them to, and you give them an out. It may or may not be for you, and I'm fine with that if it's not. If you do that, it'll drop their defenses. They won't be as resistant to wanting to get on and learn, or at least hear what you're doing. If they're on the high end of the scale, fantastic. Just keep working on getting better and teach that to your team. You know who's going to have the biggest team here? The person who can teach the people who are to become the best appointment setters and follow the system of sharing the information. That's who's going to win. It's not the person who can sell the best, who can set the appointments the best and teach others to do the same. That's mass duplication. The message is always the same. It's always the video, whether it be the video from corporate or any other video you might be using. But here's the message. We need to get them in front of that, not your mouth. Okay. And one other thing I'll mention too, what I find is the least effective way to get someone to enroll is to send them a video. Telling you flat out. If I send someone a video, you know what our enrollment rate is? I'll tell you this. When we're sitting on a Zoom with someone, our enrollment rate is probably 60, 70, 80%. No kidding. It's not us. All we're doing is showing a video, bringing on a third party, and people like it. When I'm sending a video and following up, it's less than 10%. You tell me, which way do I want to go? Do I want to send 1 million videos and get terrible return and have to follow up with everybody and no one's seeing? I have no idea the environment of how they're watching that video. They could be cooking. They could be in the middle of an argument. Their dog could be barking. Someone could be pulling in and knocking on the door, and their video continues to play, and they're missing all of the good stuff. You don't know what's going on in their house when you send a video. But if you took the time to sit with them and watch that, if you can do that, I'm going to tell you what, it's going to keep them involved. You're going to be able to follow up with them in a very timely manner. You're going to be able to get them on a 3-way call immediately, and you're going to see a massive increase in your enrollments. Okay. Are you plugged into the rhythm? What is the rhythm? It's those 10 core pillars that you hear us talk about of consistency. 2 exposures a day, 2 follow-ups, plug it into 1 weekly overview, 1 weekly training, personal development, find a workout partner, stick around for a year. All things that can be done in a 5-hour work week. Okay. Sharing this and keeping it fun. How long does it take to share with somebody? I just showed a video today, is less than 3 minutes. If I'm calling up a friend, hey, listen, I don't have a whole lot of time. I got something I'd like you to take a look at. Can you hop on a Zoom a little bit later at 6? What's it all about? Deals with gold and silver, but I don't have time to get into it right now. That's why I want you to see the video. And as I said, it may or may not even be for you. And if it's not for you, I'm good with that. It won't affect our relationship one bit. Can I count on you to be on there at 6? Sure. Okay, great. If they hit you with questions, that's a great question. That's why I need to see you at 6. That's why you need to see it. I can't answer it. You need to check it out at 6. As I said, may not be for you. I'm fine with that. I keep dropping their defenses to get them to the appointment. What is the message that you're sharing? Is the message that you're sharing that you're going out there and you're wanting to get this information in front of people? Or do you have commission breath where you sound like you're just trying to sell them? Okay. You don't want to be the person who's doing the talking. You want to be the person who's getting them to the appointment, taking them through the process. And I'll tell you what, it will duplicate and it will grow beyond you. It's amazing what can happen. Okay. And this is a nice little Bible phrase from Jeremiah. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, and plans to give you hope and a future. I hope you understand that and you believe that, because sincerely, you were made to be great. You were made for a life of abundance. And so go out there and live that life of abundance. Know what you can achieve and don't put limitations on yourself. It's all up to you. Whatever you want, you can have here. You got all of these people here to support you along that path. But you can't get frustrated along the way. You can't let your attitude be the thing that's going to drag you down. You've got all the opportunities still sitting in front of you right now. The only thing that can bring you down is your attitude. Okay, because you're frustrated because someone doesn't see it at the pace you want to see it. It will happen. Just keep going with that fire in your belly, with that smile on your face, and people will follow you. Excuse me. Sorry, I can feel that coming. I'll just sneeze. And the dog over here is whining, so I think I want to be wrapping up this for tonight. But I hope that that was helpful to everybody. You know, this is going back a little bit in time, but I want you to, if you take what you heard here tonight and you really understand, this is going to grow and it's going to explode without any one of us on this Zoom. And so if we get passionate about this, your passion is going to draw people to you just because of your fire. Get your fire burning again. Get your fire hot. It does not need to be a lot of words coming from your mouth. The less you say, the better. Just get them in front of the info and then use the third party that we've all taught here, and your future will be incredible. It's coming. The day is coming when that bubble is going to pop. But in the meantime, let's build as big of a nest egg as we can and bring as many people into this community. Because think about this, everyone. If this entire system fell apart, we've got people in this community who have skills and trades and goods and all of this stuff that we don't have, but we have a way that we can transact and be able to gift them gold and silver, actual assets, true money, and they can gift that back to us. We can keep our society going while those around us are struggling, but we need to bring as many people into this community as we can while we have time to do that and save as many lives as we can. So I hope that makes sense. And with that, if anybody wants to say anything or ask any questions, feel free, but I'm gonna wrap it up.
Can I say something
now
really
'cause I
quick?
wanna.
Mark,
What's that?
can I say something really quick?
Yes.
Just speaking of sense of urgency, and it's never about creating fear, right? However, it's that fine line of like, we all know what most people don't know. And we have two choices, right? We can sit with our knowledge and keep it to ourselves, or we can sound the alarm bell. And I do feel like it is time for the alarm bell. I'll just share with you. This is something that is about to be on my story. So if you're in my Facebook friend, you'll see it. But it says Bank of America issues warning about a potential collapse of the US dollar. So, I mean, and maybe 5 years ago, I'd have been like, ugh. I mean, I feel like it's imminent. And what's the worst case that is going to happen there is somebody's going to be like, oh my gosh, like, could that be true? And so the conversation starts. And, it's not about playing on people's fears. This is our reality. And we have two choices. We can stay stuck in our fear, or we can move forward with optimism and conviction that we know we have something that is going to solidify people's futures and potentially save lives. And so I don't know about you, but I would rather be on the other side and somebody be annoyed with me that I was, sounding the alarm than for them to be like, my gosh, had I known, like, I know you said it a couple times. I didn't think you were serious. Like, no, we are serious. These are serious times and we have the solution. So I just wanted to share that.
Very well put. Thanks so much, Danielle. Go ahead, Kathy.
Oh, I want to ditto what you shared tonight, Mark, and what you just shared, Danielle. I love this presentation. I remember when I saw it, I read the book. Y'all, the tipping point is something I've only read about. I've never experienced it. I have chill bumps when I'm talking to you right now. We're going to get to ride this wave. This is like a once in a lifetime opportunity. And what Danielle said is so true. What happens if we get down the road and we haven't shared it with somebody that we know? And they look at us and go, my gosh, why do you tell me? We really have to pick it up. We really owe them the opportunity to make that decision for themselves. And as Mark says, hey, if it's not for you, that's okay. Our friendship's not in danger. That's a great out. So thank you, Mark. This was so timely tonight, what you did. And I love this piece because this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Most of the times we hear about the startups and they don't make it, or they're already rid the wave and they're done. Man, we are sitting here. We're going to make history. And gosh, we should have 3 times the number of people, 4 times the number of people on here that are just, thriving and running and reaching out for their friends. So I really do think this is our time to pick it up and make something wonderful happen. Thank you, Mark and Danielle, for sharing this tonight. It was amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Great words. Appreciate that. All right, everybody, let's wrap up in about 50 minutes from now, 50. We're going to be hearing from corporate on our corporate WebEx and plug into that. Got some great stuff, but I want to say thank you to everybody just for being who you are, plugging in consistently. The rewards are going to come and you're going to be able to reap them tremendously. It's just a matter of continue to sow the seeds, keep your attitude positive, keep focused on where you want to go, and let's go out there and live the life of dreams while everybody around us is going to eventually come back to us at some point. It's inevitable. So thanks so much, everybody. Everybody have a wonderful night. Appreciate you all.
Thank
you.
Thank you, Mark and
Awesome.
Danielle.
Yeah,
Have a
thanks,
great night.
Great job.
Thank
Great.
you.
Appreciate you. Love you guys.
Love you guys.
Love.
Thank you, everyone.
Everybody.
Blessings.